Joining me now to discuss BTC price and other Bitcoin news is our Week in Review panel. CoinDesk Managing Editor of Technology, Christy Harkin in Toronto, and Managing Editor of Markets, Brad Cowan in Austin. Hello, Brad and Christy.
Hello.
Hey, Christine. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. What a week we've had. A new all-time high in Bitcoin that hit $66,975 or so dollars. A Bitcoin futures ETF, a first after years of rejection by multiple investment firms and asset managers. But Brad, a Bitcoin futures ETF is not exactly the greatest investment, is it? But perhaps for some types of investors, it's the only way to gain exposure to Bitcoin.
I mean, I think people in crypto are really focused on this and, what is a Bitcoin ETF versus what is a Bitcoin spot ETF versus what is a Bitcoin futures ETF. And I think, honestly, a lot of people just don't care. They just want some exposure to Bitcoin. I mean, here's, this thing that's like gone up double in price this year. It's just emerged over the past couple of years to be one of the world's biggest asset classes. It just passed silver this week. Bitcoin, it's passed silver. But at any rate, overall crypto market is 2 times silver. And people just want in, and the mechanics of these things, if you don't, there's crypto people who know how to buy Bitcoin. Know how to buy Bitcoin derivatives in many cases in sort of crypto native markets. But, a lot of people are just good old fashioned stock investors and they just want to ape into Bitcoin. And for them, it seems like an okay option. There's going to be some tracking error for sure.
The significance of the moment, Brad, all-time high, the first Bitcoin related ETF in the United States and such, and also why perhaps we're seeing a bit of a pullback in the crypto markets right now.
Yeah, I mean, the big picture here is, here's this fast growing industry called crypto, and it is like theoretically, plausibly creating a new financial system, a new economy. And it's essentially reaching its hand into that old traditional market and taking money out of that. That is kind of what's going on here with just taking money from stock market investors to put into Bitcoin. And the industry has been trying for this for a long time. And they finally got it. They didn't get, to your point, Christine, they didn't get the Bitcoin spot ETF that a lot of them wanted. But this might be the camel's nose under the tent. I mean, a lot of people think that this might just be a first step towards eventually approving a spot ETF. So,
and the contenders are already waiting in line for a spot ETF in the US. GBTC, which manages $40 billion, holds about 3.4% of all Bitcoin in circulation. They're looking to convert their fund into a spot ETF. And just a reminder to folks out there, Grayscale is a sister company of CoinDesk. And if Canada is any indication, Bitcoin futures just scratched the surface. There is a far larger demand for a spot ETF, a purpose Bitcoin ETF, 3IQ CoinShares ETF, both over $1 billion, CI Galaxy 337 million. Bitcoin futures, just that red dot there, Horizon Beta Pro Bitcoin ETF has about $7.6 million. Christy, so if any of this is any indication, and your team had a role in putting out this chart and this the article accompanying it. I mean, the demand for a spot Bitcoin is just way larger than a futures ETF.
Yeah, and we can see just from looking at that chart what the potential is should anything ever head towards spot ETFs in the US. And it's not just Canada. There are other countries that have really embrace the spot ETF over the futures ETF. So like in Brazil, in Switzerland, and everyone seems to really be more, given the option between the futures or spot, they're headed for the spot.
Absolutely. Just talking more a bit about mass adoption, Walmart announced it, or they didn't announce, rather quietly, you can go to Walmart and find a Bitcoin ATM there. What can you tell us about that, Christy?
Yeah. So believe it or not, yes, you can now go to Walmart and purchase cryptocurrencies at Coinstar machines inside right inside the big box stores. There are 200 Coinstar kiosks located inside Walmart stores across the US that are part of a pilot program. Now, you may already, if you're in the US, be familiar with Coinstar. These are those kiosks where you can put a bunch of coins in and get change your coins for more usable money other than the big rattling change around in your cookie jar. So what you'll do is you can put in your coins and you get a paper voucher, and then you need to set up a CoinMe account. And CoinMe is the crypto background to the Coinstar machines. And you go through some KYC, know your customer checks before you can redeem your voucher. There's a bit of a fee involved, so 4% fee for the Bitcoin option plus a 7% cash exchange. But this is a way that people can, throw some spare change into a machine and get some Bitcoin for it. It's a great way to get started, and it's pretty easy. And they've added Bitcoin buying services with CoinMe since 2019, really. There's something like 300 machines at various Winn-Dixie, Fresco, Mass, Harvey's, and other grocery stores across Florida already. So this pilot program is expanding.
I mean, the mass adoption and the scale is incredible. Yeah. Taking a look at crypto Twitter, it is a buzz with this Jonas Schinelli tweet. He's stepping down as a Bitcoin core maintainer and contributor. He's saying here that you may ask, why step down now? What happened? Sometimes interests shift and you can't do much about it. On top, I feel that the legal risks for Bitcoin developers are increasing year by year, which can be stressful. New contributors should join anonymously. It's tricky. Christy, what is his background and what are the legal risks he's hinting at here?
Well, I just really I'd like to use a couple of seconds here just to give a shout out to Jonas, who has done some tremendous work for Bitcoin over the past, since 2013, he's been involved. His 516, probably more than that now, commits over the last 8 years, make him the 9th most active developer on the Bitcoin Core code. Along with his work on Bitcoin source code, he's created a code library for creating Bitcoin applications in the C coding language, helped design the Bitbox hardware wallet. In January of this year, Marathon Patent Group chose him as a developer grant worth $96,000 payable in Bitcoin. And at that time, he told CoinDesk that he was working on a version of BIP 324, Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 324, for encrypted peer-to-peer messaging between Bitcoin nodes, which is fantastic for privacy, along with proposing a simplified payment verification mode for Bitcoin Core and working on Bitcoin Core CI scripts. I mean, the guy has done a lot of work for Bitcoin, and hats off and thanks for your hard work, Jonas, should you see this. So what are some of the legal ramifications? Well, even earlier this year, we saw Craig Wright, for example, going after Bitcoin.org and Cobra, the developer or maintainer of the Bitcoin.org website, claiming cryptocurrency copyright claims and trying to sue developers for hosting the Bitcoin website on their site. And that's a legal headache that they don't need and should not have to deal with. And having to fend off that kind of nonsense, it's stressful and it takes time away from the important work.
Right. I did see Calvin Ayre trolling some of the tweets there. Also, I saw another tweet. I'll bring up Nicholas Dore. He's responding to Schinelli saying, how to tell you will contribute anonymously without telling you will contribute anonymously. So some folks out there speculate that perhaps he might have some sort of role in Bitcoin's future, nevertheless. Also, Jack Dorsey keeping an eye on things, tweeting 100%, the 100% emoji to VC Stephen Cole, who's urging would-be Bitcoin core contributors to consider doing so anonymously, make protocol development even more resilient to legal and social attacks.